Dear students, today we would learn about master plans at its definition, then master plans at the global level, and then master plans in India and the way forward. Now, what is the definition of a master plan? We see that the dictionary definition of a master plan is it is a comprehensive long-term strategy. Basically, it guides the development of the city. So, a master plan, as the World Bank stated, is a dynamic long-term planning document that provides a conceptual layout to guide future growth and development. It is about making the connection between buildings, social settings and their surrounding environments. A master plan includes the analysis, recommendations and proposals for a city's population, economy, housing, transportation, community facilities and land use. It is based on public input, surveys, planning initiatives, existing development, physical characteristics and social economic condition. As we can see that master plan is about guiding the development of a city. It relates to land, and in India land is a state subject. Therefore, we see that master plan has been defined by various states in their state acts. Now, Delhi Development Authority, as per the Delhi Development Act 1957, had said that the master plan is a long-term perspective plan for guiding the sustainable planned development of the city. And this document lays down the planning guidelines, policies, development code and space requirements for various socio-economic activities supporting the city population during the plan period. It is also the basis for all infrastructure requirements. It also states, the Delhi Development Act 1957 also states that the master plan shall define the various zones into which Delhi may be divided for the purposes of development and indicate the manner in which the land in each zone is proposed to be used and the stages by which any such development shall be carried out. It also serves as a basic pattern of framework within which the zonal development plan of the various zones may be prepared. Master plan around the world is perceived differently and is approached differently. For Singapore, we have the master plan of Singapore. For New York, we have a greener, greater New York. For Karachi, we have the strategic development plan. For London, we have the special development strategy for Greater London. For Sydney, we have the sustainable Sydney. For Hong Kong, we have the Hong Kong Port Master Plan. And for Shenzhen, we have the comprehensive plan for Shenzhen. If we try to understand the process of the master plan at the world level or the global level, we see that there is a vision to the plans. So the vision guides the objectives, and based on those objectives a strategic plan is made, which is further phased out into action programs and projects. It has also investment planning or investments linked to the plan, and the plan is also monitored and reviewed. All this is done through stakeholder consultations. Let us come to Singapore master plan. Now, Singapore is the fourth wealthiest country in terms of GDP per capita. It has the sixth highest percentage of foreigners in the world, which makes up 50% of the service sector. Coming to the vision, aim and objectives of Singapore, we see that Singapore is an economically vibrant city and is the most livable city of Asia. However, the key challenges are to sustain the economic growth, that is, and ensure the high quality of life, to retain the character and identity of the city in the face of scarcity of land, growing population and rising aspirations. Therefore, in terms of strategies, the challenge is aimed to be met by two plans, that is a concept plan, the strategic plan, land use plan and the transportation plan, in order to guide the development for the future. Coming to the plan of New York City of 2030, we see that New York is a global city, highly populated, having about 40%. The city has been growing rapidly with an increase in the population from 7.3 million in 1990 to 8.3 million in 2008. And the vision, aim and objectives of the plan of the New York City is a greener, greater New York. The plan aimed at a holistic, comprehensive and a coherent approach considering the scale, intricacy and interdependency of the physical challenges. The plan also aimed at reinforcing the strengths of the city, that is in terms of concentration, efficiency, density, diversity in its people and above all in its unending sense. Now let us understand about master plans in India. India has had a long history of plan development. The planning approach of India or in India is based upon the Town and Country Planning Act of United Kingdom. In the beginning, the statutory process of development plan, that is master plan, followed in India derived its base from the erstwhile comprehensive plan system under the 1947 Town and Country Planning Act of United Kingdom, as I have referred earlier. The Central Town and Country Planning Organization, or TCPO, drafted the Model Town and Regional Planning and Development Law in 1962, which formed the basis for various states to enact Town and Country Planning Acts with modifications to suit local conditions. As I said earlier, the land is a state subject in India, and therefore various states through their various state acts have made master plans. But the terminologies are different. In some states it is development plan, some states it is master plan. So there is no one terminology about master plan in our country. Now, what are the need and objectives of master plans as per the Act? Since urban centers tend to grow in a haphazard and disorderly manner, leading to traffic congestion and inadequate infrastructure, finally resulting in degraded quality of life, therefore, a planned development is imperative for the growth of the city. And considering that our cities are growing very fast, it is all the more necessary to have planned development of the cities in our country. So therefore, there has to be a phasing and implementation schedule, and then priorities for action, then a framework for regeneration so that private sector investment can be attracted, and also conceptualizing and shaping the three-dimensional urban environment. There is a necessity to define public, semi-private and private spaces and public amenities. The mix of uses need to be determined, and the local community has to be engaged. The components of the master plan, as per the Delhi Development Act 1957, said that space requirements for various uses and allocates land for the same. It spells out the policies, guidelines as per the vision, goal and objectives of the plan. The Act says that the master plan should study the present status and the future growth prospects. It should propose developments as per status requirements. It should provide for the layout of the development code in the form of zoning regulations and building bylaws. It should phase the development process, identify the plan implementation process and the bodies. The terminology of the master plans are different as per the various state acts. We see that in New Delhi it is called as master plan. In Kolkata we had the basic development plan. In Chennai we had the master plan. In Ahmedabad we have development plan. In Bengaluru we have city development plan. In Kochi we have structure plan. One of the important reforms in our country was Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, that is JNURM, which had proposed for city development plans for the city. But though master plan is a legal mandate or has a legal mandate because it is as per the acts, state acts, the city development plan is merely guidelines and it did not have any legal backing. The master plan looks into all the related sectors that are applicable in the city. And as we see the structure of the master plan covers all the sectors of a city and relates to the demography and economic base, to spatial growth trends and land utilization, to urban infrastructure, traffic and transportation, basic services to the urban poor, heritage and tourism, about environment, urban renewal and social amenities are included in the master plan. The master plan also specifies about strengthening decentralization and urban local governance. The master plan has also spoken about mobilization and finance implementation arrangements of the city, and hence the data required, as I said earlier, master plan is based on a status assessment of the city, because it is planned for about 20 to 25 years. The existing status assessment needs to be done in order to plan for the future. So therefore, the data which is required for preparing a master plan includes the details of the economic functions, that is trade and industry. It includes the economic condition of the organizations, that is about their resources, how much financial land values and land use pattern, the location of spots of natural beauty, then about heritage, about various resources, about the urban local bodies which govern the city. So all this would be part of the database which is required for the city in order to plan. As per URDPFI guidelines, the master plan process has been identified and it is divided into 5 stages. The first stage includes identifying the development aims and objectives, which has 4 steps, that is identification of values cherished by the people, politicians and other groups of people, identification of aims incorporating the values, identification of criteria that further defines each aim to form basis for formulation of objectives, and the formulation of objectives which could be further defined as design objectives and implementation. The second stage is where, after identification of development aims and objectives, one has to identify the projected requirements of various activities, supporting infrastructure and land as the basic input for plan formulation. It is suggested that a development integration committee can be constituted, and the function of this committee is suggested to be to discuss and advise on development aims and objectives, provide input on existing. The third stage includes plan formulation, that consists of drawing up of alternative scenarios or concepts of planning the settlement, taking into account the aims and objectives, projected requirement, planning principles and theories, planning techniques and provision of norms and standards. It is followed by a process of evaluation of the alternatives having regard to achievement of aims and objectives, judicious utilization of land resources, environmental and fiscal resources sustainability, and urban design quality. The fourth stage is the plan approval process. The fifth stage is about implementation of the plans, which is generally through should be through annual plans and projects. And the various steps for effective implementation include formulation of the annual plan and identification of projects for implementation within the framework of approved development plan, identification of various agencies which would be responsible for development promotion and management, and the actions for implementation would include public sector interventions, private sector actions, and joint venture or public-private partnership. In many a case, in fact, out of the nearly 8,000 cities in our country, as per census 2011, we see that nearly only 20% of our cities have master plans. The problem, their master planning process have gained a lot of criticism. Many a case, we see that the plan making process, the plan approval process takes a lot of time, the plan implementation not done and to its fullest capacity, fullest extent, and violations are rampant. So now we come to the criticisms that the master plans face. One is, due to the lengthy plan preparation and notification process, it outgrows the existing situation and fails to cope up with the rapidly changing situations. Secondly, there is problem with the process itself. There is lack of coordination of specific departments to give or to provide the data source based on which the projections would be made. There is uncertainty of population projection, economic growth, social change and infrastructure requirements. There is also gap between the projections and the actual situations because of the time delay. There is lack of periodic review and realignment of the plan with the development. Plan is mostly static. The plan is mostly static and not amenable to quick mid-course corrections. Poor implementation mechanisms and difficulty in land acquisition are the main handicaps in implementing master plans, and as I said earlier, violations are rampant. There is ineffective public participation mechanisms. After the master plan is prepared, public participation is solicited and the master plan is put forth for objections and suggestions. Though the master plans ideally need to be participatory. Stakeholders need to be identified and engaged in the earlier phases of plan making. The existing status is required for, or the existing database is required for projecting our future requirements. We see that in case of master plan, spatial data is weak, and though other parameters, that is statistical data or numerical data in terms of socioeconomic parameters, housing and environment are there, spatial data is weak. There are also lack of investment plan. The estimates of financial outlay do not match the development works envisaged in the master plan, and the strategies for raising resources required for plan implementation are never an integral part of the plan. Moreover, urban or master planning have not incorporated the emerging issues, the emerging challenges of sustainable development, of local agenda 21, of inclusive planning, of transit oriented development, of resilient development and investment planning.